Hello everyone, welcome back to another video review. Today I'm looking at Transformers Studio Series Autobot Ratchet from Transformers Dark of the Moon. But before we get started with the toy, let's take a quick look at the box. So here we have a typical Studio Series box. Here we have Ratchet on the front. He is number 16. He's of course from Transformers Dark of the Moon. This is made by Hasbro for ages 8 and up. Of course that's just a suggestion, I have to put that on there. Studio Series, he is Autobot Ratchet. It says Transformers here along the side. This is from the Transformers Generations line, and it is also co-manufactured by Takara Tomy. On the side here, we have a nice piece of artwork for Ratchet. On the side here, another look at Ratchet. Just confirmation that this is a Deluxe class. And then on the back, we've got all the things he does. Big screen inspired, scale detail backdrop from the movie. He's from the movie Battle of Chicago. Here's Ratchet in his vehicle form. He has a short bio. Autobot Ratchet helps destroy the control pillar, saving Earth from Sentinel Prime and the Decepticons. And of course, you can transform him in 18 steps. And then here's some other toys you can buy. It comes with a display stand, which we will get to later. And that is it for the box. So here we have Dark of the Moon Ratchet. So we've kind of come full circle with this Studio Series Ratchet figure, because the first version of Ratchet we got in Studio Series was based on his 2007-2009 design that we saw in the first Transformers and Revenge of the Fallen. Now we have him in his Dark of the Moon / Age of Extinction colors, which, considering the mold that this toy is originally based off of, is funny because the mold that this toy is based off of was originally used for Dark of the Moon. So we've come full circle with Ratchet here. He's the toy we have in front of us is now using the design that the original toy used. So I find that very funny. So he is, in molding, he's the exact same as the previous Studio Series figure we got for Ratchet. It's just that the paint job is different to match his design in Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction. My copy, for whatever reason, these don't want to snap into place. It's not a problem I had on the 2007 version, but this one does have that problem for whatever reason. It's annoying, but it's a nitpick. It's not that big a deal. So I do quite like the look of him. He's this little more green than the previous version, which was more kind of a neonish yellow than really a green. But this one is actually green. Of course, he's got some gray here. So, Search and Rescue, Fire Department, Autobot symbol right there. Like the other version, his hands are just kind of sitting there, and oh, there's his face. So he does come with an accessory, and this figure's accessory, instead of being a buzzsaw, is his blaster, which I really like. I think that's pretty cool. It's honestly, this right here is the reason I picked up this figure, because I already had the 2007 version. So I was like, I'm kind of good. I kind of wish it came with this blaster, though. And then they revealed this version, and it came with the blaster, and I'm like, I don't know if a blaster is enough for me to pick up this figure. And then I found him discounted at Walmart by a couple dollars, so he was cheaper than he would have been otherwise. So I'm like, what the heck, I'll jump on it. So yeah, so I really like his blaster. The molding on it is very nice. It's very accurate to what we see in the films. Of course, you can have this here to where he's holding it, and so the way it's designed, it does look like it's part of his arm instead of he's holding it, which is nice, because in the films, Ratchet does this is actually part of his arm, that he can transform his arm into a gun instead of him actually holding a blaster. So there is storage for this in vehicle mode, sort of. Yep, there we are. That's it's a little silly, but it is what it is. You can also take the buzzsaw from the other version if you've got it. Just as silly, but that's something you can do. So let's go ahead and get into some comparisons here, starting off with the 2007 version. So here we have the other version of Ratchet from Studio Series. And of course, they look good together because, besides the paint job, they are the exact same toy. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have both versions of movie Ratchet. You know, the paint is very versatile. Oh, I forgot to turn his head around. Ignore that. His head's supposed to go around when he's in vehicle mode. Yeah, ignore that. I'm noticing, comparing these two, the windshield plastic is a little more transparent on this one than it is on this, because that it is transparent because you can you can see the light coming back through there, where this is, I don't even think that's transparent. I think that's just completely painted black, where the windows on here, that's all transparent. So that's an interesting difference. So here are our two Ratchets. Another thing to note, for some strange reason, and I think this is a my copy thing, but this wheel just doesn't want to really go straight. Like, so it's, I don't know why that is. It's a minor annoyance. Again, I think it, because it doesn't do that on this one. Oh, actually, no, it kind of does. Look at that. Huh. I'm just now, and if you do that then, huh. That's interesting. I'm just now noticing that on this version. Okay, then I guess that's there's some sort of weird problem with this mold that I've never noticed before. Huh. Okay, so it's just more evident on this one. That's strange. And then for another size comparison here, we have Age of Extinction Bumblebee. So we have Ratchet and Bee as they both appeared in Age of Extinction. So Bee is longer than Ratchet, but Ratchet's taller. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. Now we can get into the transformation. So the transformation, if you have the other one, is going to be very, very familiar because it's the exact same toy minus the paint job. So the transformation is going to be exactly the same. You just pull out the arms here. Lift that up. Now we've got the legs going. Fold that back. Fold that back. Pull down the feet like so. And now we've got the legs all done. Looking very odd so far. So now we come up here. It always helps if you grab onto this section and then that just twists around like so. And then that'll just snap into place. I think I got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's in there. We can turn his head around. Now, one thing about, I kind of went over this with the other Ratchet, but I'll go over it again just very quick. The instructions do tell you to pull this down. For what reason, I don't really know, other than screen accuracy, but it just didn't really serve too much of a purpose, and it's kind of tough to get, so I just leave it. It's not really that big a deal, so then we can work on this here. We bring this wheel around, and then that'll just snap into place there. Okay, maybe I didn't get that. There we go, now I got it. Spin that wheel around. Maybe get that plugged in if it wants to go. There we are. And then you just fold this up and it will snap into place. And then work on these joints just a little bit more, and I think yeah, there we are. There we have Dark of the Moon Ratchet. So yeah, he looks pretty good. We can get in close here on the head sculpt. This is really the kind of one of the complaints or nitpicks I had about the other version, is that the head had some really great molding, but the paint just didn't allow that to really pop or be noticed very well because of the way it was molded. This is another reason I really wanted to pick up this figure when I saw that it was reduced, the price was reduced, because like, oh, that face sculpt is gorgeous, and it's actually picked out in paint this time, so you can actually really see all the details. I kind of wish his mouth wasn't silver and the mouth remained green, but oh well. I mean, the biggest complaint I had about the other version was the face not being painted that well, and this, I mean, look at that. That is a gorgeous face sculpt. I mean, that's something great about these Studio Series toys, is they really do a really good job with the details in the head sculpt, because the Bayverse designs have lots of little intricate details in there, and the Studio Series does a great job at really getting all those details in there. Blackout is a big example of that. So one thing that makes him a little different from his previous version is that these are not painted, which slightly annoys me because they were painted on the other one. Honestly, the paint with the paint on the face is better on this one, but the paint overall in the robot mode is actually worse than it was on the other version. Let's go ahead and bring in the other version right now. So yeah, so there's the 2007 version. Actually, that is another thing that and I think this comes down to a my copy issue, but the leg joints, on the hips, they're just so loose, so he does kind of slide around, and it's hard to get him to stand sometimes. Not the issue with, I don't have that issue with this one, so I think that may just be a this copy issue, which is kind of annoying, but you can't knock it against the toy overall, because it's like, well, it seems like that's just a problem of mine, because I haven't really seen anyone else have that problem. So as we can see here, there's the silver paint here in the details, and this version does not have that. And then, of course, these are not painted, while over here, these are. So I guess they took whatever silver paint budget they had for down here, and for this version, they moved it up to the face, which, I don't know. I think that's kind of an okay trade-off. It's I prefer to have as nice as these details picked out in silver are over here. It's not that big a deal if they're not picked out in silver over here, but the face being painted is something I much prefer. So we can go ahead and get in closer on both of them, so you can see how much better this Ratchet's face looks compared to this one. So, and then the front of the car here is virtually identical on both, minus the regular change. It's like that's more of a neon green, this is more of a green. So other than that, they're pretty much identical. So yeah, so of course we can give Ratchet his weapon, his blaster here. Just get it into his hand there, and then it looks like it's, well, not so much from this end, but when you look at it from this side, it does kind of look like it's part of his arm, which is nice. And then, of course, if you've got the other version, you can take this one's saw blade, just move him off to the side there, and give it to this Ratchet. Same toy, so you can hold it, he can put it in his arm. Yeah, he can do whatever with it. So get him in a pose there. Yeah, so there we have Dark of the Moon / Age of Extinction Ratchet. We've kind of been getting size comparisons in here already, but here's his counterpart from earlier in the film series when he was seen in 2007 and 2009. We'll go ahead and bring in the Last Night Deluxe Edition Bumblebee, which is the exact same figure as the Age of Extinction version I brought in a minute ago. It's just that this one has a different paint job. So Ratchet is taller, which I think is accurate, so that's nice that he's taller. And then just to rub salt in the wound, here we've got Gunface himself, Age of Extinction, Lockdown. Let me take the Gunface off. So much smaller figure compared to Studio Series Ratchet. I think Studio Series Lockdown is larger than this Ratchet. I don't have that figure, so I can't quite tell you, but I think from what I've seen he is. But this version of Lockdown much smaller. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. And we're not quite done yet because, as I alluded to earlier, we have a box. We can open up said box, reach inside, and grab the display. So the display here is the wrecked bridge in Chicago from the end of Dark of the Moon. And we can put Ratchet on there, and we can center that up for the camera just a little bit. And now you've got a nice display for your shelf. I don't actually have room on my shelf for any of these displays, but it is really cool that Hasbro puts these in there, because that's just awesome for collectors. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Ratchet. My opinions on this one are a little different than the previous version, just because there's just a couple changes. You know, the biggest thing being the paint job, because he's going from his 2007-2009 designs to his 2011-2014 designs. So just there's some differences there, and then of course there's the differences of the paint on the face and then the legs. And then the legs in general, they just on this copy they stick in better than the other one, so he doesn't slide around when trying to stand him. But of course, that's not really that wasn't a toy problem with the other version. I think that was just a quality of life thing that my copy just happened to be afflicted by, which is unfortunate, but not really something you can fault the toy for overall. So I can't exactly say that my opinions on this one are exactly the same as the other version. But overall, I think it's still a good toy. I really enjoy it. I wish that this version had come out first. I understand why they did the 2007 version first, because, you know, the last time we got this version of the toy, it was this version of the toy, just slightly different. The comparison photo that I showed last time will be over there on the side. But yeah, this one came with the gun, and I prefer the gun over the buzzsaw. But yeah, so I kind of feel funny. Part of me is feeling a little funny that I bought two Ratchets just to have the gun. But I've got both those designs now, so I can have one in vehicle mode and one in robot mode. So it looks good on the shelf. And of course, I do have both of his accessories. But I wish that the 2007 version had come with the gun, or this version had come out before the 2007 version, just because it's like, I did buy two of them. I probably would prefer to just have the one, but it's, you know what? This isn't a bad figure to have two of. It's not, I'm complaining here, but I'm not really complaining. If at this point, I don't think you're going to be able to find the 2007 Ratchet on store shelves. It's probably just going to be this version you'd be able to find, and even then you may not even be able to find him anymore, because I've had him for a little while now. I've just now gotten around to reviewing him because I've been away at school. But yeah, so if you think this figure looks cool and you want to pick him up, then I would highly recommend him. He's a great looking figure. I mean, just gosh, the detail in the face is awesome. So yeah, that is Studio Series Dark of the Moon / Age of Extinction Ratchet. So please, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.